Most people don't lose discipline because life becomes more difficult. They lose it because motivation fades away. One day, the energy is strong, the excitement, the intention, the plans, and the next day it's gone. You're left facing the same habits that were supposed to be finished by now. If this feels familiar, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're building your life on something unstable. Miyamoto Musashi understood this centuries ago. He became one of history's greatest samurai philosophers not by relying on motivation, but by following a system of discipline that worked even on days when he felt nothing. That lesson still matters today. In the modern world, discipline breaks down for the same reasons it always has. People begin with intensity, meet resistance, then fall back into old routines. Daniel was one of them. An ordinary man who wanted to organize his life, but couldn't remain consistent for more than a few days. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't weak. He was simply depending on motivation, the one thing Musashi never trusted. Everything shifted the moment Daniel stopped chasing motivation and started applying the principles you're about to learn. Lesson 1. Earth. The courage to see where you truly stand. Daniel believed he was doing fine. He worked hard, stayed busy, and filled his days with tasks, emails, messages, projects, and errands. He assumed he was disciplined because he was tired. But Earth teaches the first truth of discipline. Busy is not disciplined. Busy is just loud. Musashi wrote that a warrior must understand both the smallest things and the greatest things. This means recognizing the small habits that shape your days and the overall direction of your life. When Daniel finally reviewed his days honestly, without excuses, he discovered something uncomfortable. He wasn't productive. He was distracted. His phone consumed hours. His open tabs stole attention. His thoughts were scattered. The hardest realization was this: he didn't lack time, he was wasting it. Earth teaches that discipline begins the moment you face reality without defending yourself. Not who you want to be, but who you actually are. That honesty changed Daniel's entire outlook. He realized discipline wasn't a fight against time. It was a fight against self-deception. Until you face the truth, change isn't possible. Lesson 2. Water. The discipline of adaptation, not force. Once Daniel saw the truth, he reacted the way most people do. He tried to fix everything at once. He created the perfect schedule: 5:00 a.m. wake-ups, long training sessions, hours of deep work, meditation, reading, 0 distractions. It lasted one morning. Water teaches the opposite approach. Miyamoto Musashi wrote that water takes the form of whatever contains it. This means discipline must remain flexible when facing resistance, not stiff or rigid. Daniel learned that taking small steps was not a sign of weakness. It was the only way forward. 5 focused minutes instead of an hour, 10 push-ups instead of a full workout, 1 page instead of an entire chapter. Water moves around obstacles. It doesn't confront them directly. In discipline, this means lowering the task until failure is impossible. Repeat it until avoiding it becomes harder than doing it. Then increase it until you're surprised by who you become. By flowing instead of forcing, Daniel discovered momentum in places where motivation had always failed. Lesson 3. Fire. Refining yourself, not exhausting yourself. As Daniel eased into stronger habits, short workouts, focused work periods, fewer distractions, he noticed something risky: progress. Because once progress appears, comparison follows. Someone was stronger, someone wealthier, someone faster, someone younger and already ahead. Fire shows up here not as motivation, but as emotional heat, frustration, jealousy, self-criticism, insecurity. Musashi didn't teach ignoring fire. He taught directing it. Fire refines metal. Fire sharpens discipline. When Daniel felt that inner spark, the voice saying, "You're not enough," he changed its direction. Not, "I'm failing," but, "I refuse to remain where I am." Not self-hatred, self-direction. Fire, when properly focused, becomes fuel. Daniel started turning every frustration into tomorrow's action. More repetitions, sharper focus, better planning. Fire transformed into forward momentum. Lesson 4. Wind. Remaining a student, not claiming mastery. Months passed, and Daniel became consistent. He woke up earlier, worked with greater depth, exercised daily, ate healthier, and grew sharper. Then he made a common mistake. He assumed he was finished. Wind teaches that mastery is never complete. Musashi spent decades studying different schools, techniques, and philosophies, not to copy them, but to stay humble. The greatest risk of progress is believing you no longer need the habits that created it. So Daniel returned to books, mentors, improved strategies, and people far beyond his level. Each new lesson revealed how much he still didn't know. Wind keeps you grounded, keeps you moving, and keeps you honest. Discipline flourishes when curiosity remains alive. Lesson 5. Void. Living beyond motivation, beyond effort. The void is the most difficult lesson because it cannot be taught. It must be experienced. There comes a point when discipline stops feeling like a struggle and becomes part of who you are. Not because life gets easier, but because enduring challenges becomes natural. Daniel eventually reached the stage Musashi described. The moment you stop waiting for life to become simpler. It doesn't. You grow stronger. You don't chase motivation, argue with yourself, or search for reasons. You act because it defines you. This is the void, the quiet power of consistent effort without emotion, the steady strength of action without drama, the subtle confidence of becoming someone you once thought was impossible. Lesson 6. The modern warrior's rule: track the truth. One constant throughout Daniel's journey was tracking, not to fixate on numbers, but to remain connected to reality. Musashi practiced calligraphy, drawing, swordsmanship, and meditation, each reflecting his current state. Tracking your actions makes the invisible visible. Habits become honest, patterns clear, and progress undeniable. Discipline thrives in clarity and fades in vagueness. In today's world, this is your sword. Lesson 7. The final seal. Let the practice be the reward. Musashi did not train to win. He trained because training was the path. Daniel came to the same realization. The workout itself is the reward. Deep work is the reward. Early mornings are the reward. The self-respect gained from doing what is hard, that is the reward. Discipline becomes unshakable when the process itself holds meaning, when you stop chasing outcomes and start honoring the practice. Not because it's easy, but because it's yours, the part of yourself you haven't discovered yet. If you take one lesson from Musashi's teachings, let it be this. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a practice, and a practiced identity will always outweigh temporary feelings. When motivation fades, discipline keeps you moving. When energy drains, strategy guides you. When comfort tempts, purpose drives you. Most people never encounter the strongest version of themselves, not because it's hidden, but because they never stay consistent long enough to reach it. The rings are not just philosophy, they're a roadmap. Earth, see yourself clearly. Water, adapt with intelligence. Fire, channel your emotional energy. Wind, remain a lifelong student. Void, become someone who acts without relying on motivation. Daniel discovered that version of himself. You can too. Not someday, not eventually, but today by walking the way.